What is up, everybody, from our AT&T 5G virtual studios? Welcome on into Group Chat presented by AT&T 5G. I'm Susannah Collins alongside Stephen Keel on this beautiful first Friday of fall. How are you living, sir?
I am living. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I woke up today still a little bummed from the League's Cup game final on Wednesday. A little bummed, but I was like, you know what? Then I remembered I get to come hang with you. We got a full slate of MLS action this week, and my mood turned it right upside. So now I'm good.
That frown upside down.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Same. Yeah. I look forward to my Friday mornings because obviously hanging out with you just starts my weekend off on the right note. Yeah. But let's chat very briefly about what happened midweek in League's Cup, because sadly we are not celebrating more hardware for the Seattle Sounders after a 3-2 loss to Club Leon in that final. And I'll be honest, man, I was feeling so good for a while. It was scoreless after the half, and then Seattle came out in the second half and looked a little re-energized. I don't know. And then Christian Roldan off of this beautiful ball from Madronda gives them the 1-0 lead, and they were in control. They had some chances after this. Rui Diaz hit the hit the post, but then all of a sudden it was just something happened, and I don't know if it was just Club Leon is a very, very good team.
Oh yeah, and
they just jumped on any sort of defensive weakness that they saw in Seattle, and Angel Mena with the brace. I thought that last breath, I thought that Rui Diaz was gonna get that equalizer, but sadly was not to be, Keel.
It wasn't. And you're right. It was a roller coaster, right? Because the game kind of started off, and then Seattle goes up and they almost double the lead. And then suddenly it's 3-1. You're like, oh my gosh. And then the ending, you think, can they pull it off? But came up just a little bit short. But right. And I think at this game that definitely some positives. Christian Roldan continues to be awesome, right? Dude's just such a stud. Seattle never quit. They kept fighting to the last minute, which you like to see even when they are down 3-1. But again, I'm interested to see what their rebound is coming out of this game, because you invest so much energy, so much emotion in this game, and then the guys just got to be gutted, right? It's a final. You're so close. You're up 1-0. Not to come away with the hardware. Got to be disappointed. I know I was disappointed. I know a lot of MLS fans were. So I can only imagine what it's like for the guys in that locker room.
I know.
But they got to regroup. They got a quick turnaround this weekend. Big matchup.
Huge match.
Against Sporting Kansas City. So I'm interested to see what the rebound is like. And as far as MLS goes, we get to do it again against Liga MX in a couple days, but we'll get to that in a second, I believe.
Yeah, we will talk all of that. We'll talk Seattle's matchup with SKC. We will talk Campeones Cup for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Seattle wanted this one. They wanted that international trophy, and Schmetzer made no secret about that. And I think they're gonna. I'm hopeful that they will just be able to now focus on MLS regular season, but it was a tough loss, and you could see it in their body language on the field. But some positive news surrounding League's Cup. Keel,
yes.
Did you happen to hear? Did you happen to hear this big announcement this week? So starting in 2023, this is crazy. MLS and Liga MX will participate in an annual month-long summer tournament. This is the new ideation of League's Cup. Okay, so it's going to feature every single club from MLS and Liga MX. They're going to pause the seasons. Yes. Focus on this tournament alone, and it's going to be sanctioned by CONCACAF. So this is going to be, a situation where there's a group stage and then knockout for an entire month. Okay, and then but the stakes are very high for this. Okay, because the winner of this tournament will get automatic qualification into Champions League round of 16. Okay? You miss all the action before that, which can get super, super crazy. And then the second and third will qualify for the opening round of CCL. So this is, it's big. It's a big deal. The stakes are incredibly high. And this is, I know, we saw at MLS All-Star game, sort of these two leagues coming together, the All-Stars of Liga MX, the All-Stars of MLS. And this is just one of these things that's further enforcing this partnership between these two leagues, I think this is an incredible thing, especially when we look ahead to what's happening in 2026 with the World Cup in North America. We're going to see Canada, Mexico, United States. And so this is just sort of bringing it all together in anticipation of that. And it's going to be wild.
This is wild. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. This is huge. This is massive. And you mentioned the 3 CCL spots up for grabs. But I think what I love is that all clubs, right? Every club is going to be involved. They're pausing it. So there's no other games, no other tournaments or anything going on. All the focus is going to be on this tournament. So this is going to be so cool to kind of see top to bottom where the two leagues kind of stack up. And then again, for the winner, right? The one champion, the champion of North America, every club's involved. So, I mean, what a distinguished honor that will be to have that title. So this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see how this plays out. And again, all the clubs pause for a month.
Let's get it. Pause for a month. I know. This is so legit. So we have that to look forward to again. That will be starting in 2023. So it's going to be here before we know it. Kids, buckle up. All right. You mentioned it earlier on in the show, Stephen Keel, but we've got some more MLS Liga MX action coming up next week on Wednesday, September 29th. Campeones Cup featuring, this is going to be great. Columbus Crew, the reigning MLS Cup champions, taking on Cruz Azul, the campeones of Liga MX.
Yeah.
So this is going to be very, very exciting. Now we know that Columbus has had a disappointing season so far. We're just going to straight up say it. And you and I were very high on them at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
As I recall, we were like all in. We literally took all of our chips and just went Columbus.
I'm on a Columbus bandwagon.
Yeah, which hasn't really played out. But this is an opportunity. I feel like, Stephen Keel, if they are able to win this game, if they are able to take home a trophy, that can ignite a team. And they are not out of the playoff picture. That's important to remember. And we still have plenty of time left. And if all you need to do is string together a few results, and you are right back in that conversation. And so I feel like this is where it has to happen for the Columbus Crew. Now, worth pointing out here too, that Lucas Zelarayan is already a Campeones Cup champion. He won with Tigres back in 2018. He was on that Tigres side that beat Toronto FC. I was there, watched it in person. That was a very one-sided affair. We don't have to get into details there, but he knows what this is like. He knows what it's like to play in these sort of big one-off final matches. And Darlington Nagbe has actually said that playing against Monterrey and CCL this season has given them a lot of confidence and experience for this game. So I think that Columbus this is a very, very important match for them. So, because not only, is it, you bring home a trophy, which is always a good thing, but this could jumpstart what could be a little, late season push for them.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with everything you stated. It's just a big game, two good teams, right? And again, Columbus, not where their fans thought they were, certainly not where we thought they were. But I still believe in Caleb Porter. I still believe in the talent on this team. Zelarayan, Nagbe, Ele Room, they've got difference makers throughout the field, and it just hasn't come together for a variety of reasons through the regular season. But like you said, they're only 4 points out of a playoff spot. Yeah. It's not like they're buried dead, they're just, they rattle off 2 or 3 wins in regular season. They're in the playoffs. And then we've seen once you get in the playoffs, these one-off games, anything can happen. So again, I think you're spot on. Big game, all eyes on this. I think I'm hopeful, and I believe we're going to see a big performance from Columbus. And then from their supporters' point of view, use that to springboard as you come into the home stretch of games. But again, we were all Sounders fans a couple days ago. We are all Crew fans next Wednesday, 100%. So I expect a big performance from them.
Do you know what I keep thinking of? You remember the incredible image of Rob Lowe when he was at a Super Bowl and he was just wearing like the NFL logo, like that branded hat. Like that is us, just with like MLS. Like it's like Doesn't matter. Team
Right.
F. Like I'm an MLS fan,
Yes,
baby. Like that is us.
No clubs. I just MLS wherever. I'm on board with them.
Oh, amazing. Oh my gosh. And guys, don't forget to join us for the Campeones Cup post-game show after the final whistle that is going to be on all MLS channels, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. So
Yes.
all the guys are going to break it down for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Keel, should we get into the standings?
Yeah, of
So
course.
let's take a look
Where
at how
do we
things. Well,
stand?
we've got some news actually in the
Ooh.
East, because look at New England. Now, this is a shock to absolutely no one, but they are the very first team to clinch a spot in the postseason. And as our producer Galena said to us yesterday on the call, this is when it starts to feel real. You know,
Yeah.
as soon
Oh,
as
yeah.
teams start clinching, then it's like, oh man, the postseason is here. Like it's
Yeah.
right around the corner. So New England, I mean, they're on pace to break every single club record for themselves, possibly even the league record for points this season, depending on how they play. I mean, you saw what they were able to do last minute against Chicago this week. Carlos
Yep.
Heel, just oh my
Come on.
God. I mean,
on.
unbelievable stuff. Certainly an MVP caliber season for him. But also want to point out Atlanta now just steadily climbing these standings. They are now in sixth place, 36 points. Absolutely wild that we are talking about them this way because it was looking pretty bleak for them, but they have won 7 of their last 8 games, which is crazy. Also, like, look at this. There are only 8 points between 3rd place and 10th. So, you know, when we were saying like Columbus is not out of it, like that
Right.
that's what I'm talking about. Like that you can make up 8 points in a handful of games. And that's entirely possible for any one of these teams that are sort of in that mix right there. So there's going to be some shuffling. It's going to be a crazy, wild finish to the season in the East, Keel.
This is the best. This is what makes MLS so fun, right? It seems always to come down to decision day where like 1 point here, and as the game, someone team goes up 1-0, they jump in the playoffs, and they tie 1-1, they jump down. So it should be a great finish in the East. And out west, it's a little somewhat, not quite a similar story, but similar. You got kind of the top 3 have kind of separated themselves. Sporting Kansas City on top and searching for that crucial first round bye that goes to the top seed in each conference. But I'll tell you what, a team, you know, you got your eye on Atlanta. I'll tell you who I'm looking at. Portland.
Heck yeah.
Right? Portland jumping up into the 5th spot, 1 point out of that 4th seed, which would be a home hosting a playoff game, which would be incredible. So 4 wins out of 5 games for Portland. Gio Savarese and his team are playing well. They're getting results, and they just keep climbing the Western Conference. But again, so tight around that playoff line. It should be fun.
Should be a ton of fun. All right, let's get to some of our game previews for this weekend, because we've got some really great matchups to look forward to, including another edition of the always entertaining Hudson River Derby.
Let's get it.
Darling, NYCFC taking on Red Bulls Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and DAZN. So this is the second time these teams are facing off against each other in the span of 4 days. All right, so, you know, listen, just
That's always good.
give me more. Give me
Yes.
more. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
On Wednesday, they split the points. It was a 1-1 draw. But it was a crazy game, to be honest.
Yes.
We saw a couple of red cards for NYCFC, which will certainly play into this upcoming game. But it was wild because we saw that last minute PK and Klamala leveling the game for Red Bulls, and they were able to scrape by a point. In the same way that we kind of have talked about Columbus, I'm going to talk about the Red Bulls. That was a huge point for them. A huge point for them, and a huge result for them. They are at risk of not making the playoffs for the first time in like, I don't know, forever, like literally since the beginning of time, which is obviously a huge exaggeration, but you know, it's very odd. So again, if they are able to get a positive result against NYCFC, and they are a very good team, you know, that can be a thing that kind of turns the tide for them. For NYCFC, though, I mentioned those 2 red cards. They're Keaton Parks, not going to be available. Maxime Chanel, not going to be available. So those are 2 big pieces that they are not going to have available due to those red cards. What are you watching for in this one?
Well, you look at this game again Wednesday, and I think it ended in a 1-1 draw. but you have two different emotions. I think for Red Bulls, it felt like a win, and for NYCFC, it felt like a loss.
Yeah.
But we'll focus on the Red Bulls first. And look, last 2 games, they've picked up 4 points. They're still just hanging on, saying we're not going down without a fight. So 8 points out of a playoff spot. They still have a big hill to climb. But if they can go into Yankee Stadium this weekend, get a result, if they can find a way to get 3 points, keep climbing, keeping their season alive, would be massive as they come down the final stretch. And I think and you mentioned him, I think that's a lot of that is on the shoulders of Patrick Lamala.
Yeah.
3 goals in his last 3 games. He's been absolutely massive. He's the difference maker for them. He's the one that can actually change games. And so he's going to be huge in this match for him. And the other side, you have NYCFC, and it's like, oh man, you thought you had it, right? You played 90 plus 10 minutes, and you're up, 1-0. But I think you look at it, Tati Castellanos' dream season continues. Another goal in this one. He's got 13 on the season.
Unbelievable.
But we said it felt like a loss. And, as a player, when you have one of these games that maybe, you lose or it's just a bad result in your mouth, I always liked when there was a quick turnaround to kind of, quickly move on from that game and on to the next one. I think that Seattle will kind of find the same thing, a quick turnaround with them. Same thing for NYCFC. So, yeah, this is a big game.
Yeah.
If it's anything like the first, especially the second half of the first meeting, I love it. It was a proper derby. You had red cards, yellow cards, late game drama, PKs, video review. What more do you need?
What more do you need? Drama all over the place. Yeah, that is fantastic. This also leads us to our 22 under 22 presented by Body Armor Stock Watch Player Spotlight, because today we're focusing on Santiago Rodriguez of NYCFC. He is a 21-year-old Uruguayan midfielder whose stock is very much rising this season. Okay. 3 goals in 414 minutes played this season. And he was very highly touted in Uruguay. Okay. Like the kid was being watched by several clubs. He's a playmaker. He's just a playmaker who can also score goals, which is incredible. And we've seen that from him. Just incredible awareness. What do you like about this kid's game?
Yeah, everything he does going forward is fantastic. He can play multiple positions in the attacking phase, the attacking side of the ball. He can score. He can set up his teammates. He's good dribbling. He's good passing. He finds dangerous spots. He connects with his teammates. Everything you think of a very talented, very good attacking midfielder, he possesses. So when I look at it with, in terms of NYCFC, especially their attack, it's very interesting and they're very dangerous, right? You got Tati, Jesus Medina, Maxi Morales, and you add in Santiago Rodriguez. This makes them extremely, extremely dangerous and talented. So hats off to the sporting director, David Lee, for going out, acquiring young, talented, dynamic players. And for NYCFC, listen, they got to have their goal is hardware at the end of the season. Lifting that cup. Has to be lifting that cup. And they're going to need everybody involved. And I think Santiago Rodriguez, if they are to achieve that goal, is going to play a huge role for them.
Well said, Stephen Keel. All right, let's get back to our game previews because we have another great one. San Jose taking on LAFC Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and DAZN. Okay, so San Jose, they're coming off a 4-3 win against Austin, which I think is a perfect sort of microcosm of their season so far. Like they can score goals. This team can score 4 goals in a game, but they also give up a lot of goals. It's this sort of like high risk, high reward type of thing that we see from San Jose, which is entertaining as heck, right? I mean, can we just agree that San Jose is super fun to watch? You will never be bored watching watching San Jose. Incredible individual performances, but then they are just susceptible defensively to give up those leads, Keel, and that has been a concern for them.
I think so. And you look at this and 2 of the more wild games you'll see all year. And I think for Matias Almeida and their team he's going to be super happy. 7 goals scored in the last 2 games. He's not going to be happy. 7 goals conceded in the last 2 games. So, but I think when you look at this team and especially this game, you got to look at San Jose trophies, right? 5 goals in his last 2 games. The guy is absolutely on fire. Just kind of continues to put the team on his back to say, hey, again, still hopeful that they can make a run, find themselves in the playoffs. And then on the other side, LAFC, just been such a kind of a weird up and down season where they'll win a couple games. They may draw a couple, lose a couple, and a lot of it, the inconsistent form, is due to a little bit of players out for various reasons. But they had won 3 games in a row, and they lost to Portland. But again, I think you look at it as they're going to be frustrated with not converting some of the chances that they've created. But this game should be fun, right? You look at Christian Arango, again, scored another goal. I think it's 5 straight games with a goal. So I think you have Arango, you have trophies. 2 teams that know and have shown they can score goals. I think there should be lots of goals in this game. But again, 2 teams fighting for that to try to sneak into the playoffs. 6-point game. It's going to be exciting.
A lot.
It's going to be exciting. It's got to be exciting.
A lot on the line on this one. Yeah, I mean, LAFC are just 1 point below the playoff line. So this is, they are right in that mix. They just signed to Mishi Galina. Okay, he was tearing it up in USL for the Colorado Spring Switchbacks. Okay, so this is a guy that they're hoping can kind of inject a little bit of energy into that attack as well. Because you mentioned guys like Arango, Jose Cifuentes has played very well. But there was some interesting news yesterday. It looks like Edward Atuesta is questionable for this game. So, I just feel like they keep having to deal with injuries and these little things that creep up, and Carlos Vela is still not healthy and back. So there's they get these bright spots, but then there's still these issues that they're continuing to have to work through. So they're totally capable. I still believe we're going to see LAFC in the postseason.
Yeah, you get that feel that they just find a way, right?
They will find a way. But it's been a grind for LAFC for sure. Yeah, that's going to be a really, really fun match. All right, we've got another great one in Portland taking on RSL Saturday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and DAZN. Okay, so right now, the difference between home field advantage in the playoffs in the West right now is 1 point. Okay, just one little tiny point. We've got Portland is in 5th, RSL right behind them in 6th. So they're both going to be like just going full on. Again, all of these like huge playoff implications. All of these games that we're talking about for Portland. I'm really excited about Portland right now because and for one very good reason, Sebastian Blanco is back and seemingly like back 100%. The guy has been absolutely on fire since he made his return. They are 4-1-0 since he has come back. He's recorded 2 goals, 1 assist in 5 games. It's just defensively they've looked a little bit more shored up than they had earlier on in this season. Portland is one of these teams. Like if I would not want to face them in the playoffs right now because I feel like they are just hitting their stride.
Yeah, and you're right. When you talk about Portland, you got to talk about Sebastian Blanco. They're a different team with him on the field.
Yeah,
the box score he produces there, but I think he also just adds so much more to this team in the way he plays. His work rate, his willingness to go find the ball, find pockets of space that are dangerous, and to make things happen. And you combine that with his work rate and his grit and fire, and you can see the passion he plays with. It's contagious. So, he's brought that level up so much. And again, like you said, defensively, right? 3 goals conceded in the last 5 games. That's pretty good. So they keep things clean in the back. Let Sebastian Blanco and company go forward and do their thing. It's shown 4 games out of 5 with wins, which is positive. And on the other side, you have another very good team, right? RSL won 3 out of 4. Damir Krylak continues to have a great season. Listen, I think everyone saw his post-game interview.
Oh, man.
You can see the player he is and what he brings on the field, and then you hear him speak and the supporting comments from everybody else, and just what an awesome guy he is off the field. But also having another great season, Aaron Herrera, right? He was fantastic against Seattle. He had the assist to Krylak for the game winner. It's just he's now 3rd in the league, which is crazy for an outside back in assist with 9 on the season. So they're exciting team to watch. And you spoke about San Jose being a very fun team to watch and scoring goals in these games. The last 4 games for RSL, 3-2 win, 3-2 loss, 4-3 win, and a 1-0 win. So listen, RSL's giving us some fireworks, good and bad. But I tell you what, Pablo's got him believing. Pablo's got them believing, and they're making moves.
I love Pablo. I have such a soft spot for that guy. I think he is such an underrated head coach, and he's just a really, really awesome human being. And they have, you know what? Like, I know that team. We had a conversation with Brian Dunseth a few weeks ago after all that the news broke that Freddie Juarez was leaving. And he was very honest about sort of the tone of the locker room at that point. And guys were upset, really, really felt kind of let down and abandoned. And, you know, it was hard. And so they really, the way that they have kind of rallied and come together. And I think Pablo is huge, instrumental in that, right? That's a tough situation to walk into, where a head coach that everybody was buying into, everybody believed in this guy, up and leaves. And then you've got to bring this whole sort of disgruntled group together. That is no easy task. And Pablo has done it. And I think that, you know, you mentioned Krylak's post-game interview, and he was playing in front of his family, and he was very emotional about that. But I think it was also the emotions of what that team has been through over the past month, and a huge win over Seattle, where your coach just up and left you for, you know, it's almost, it's like that revenge match, you know, it's like getting that little last dig in on your ex, just like, you know what I mean? I always go there. That's just, you know, good. It's a whole other show, to be honest. But like, I think that there was a lot behind that. And I'm really marveled at Pablo Mastroeni and what he's been able to do. They're 3-0-2 since Juarez left. Like, they're playing pretty well.
And I was fortunate enough to play with Pablo, and he actually coached played under him a little bit. And I mean, as a player, he such a talent, can do anything. But I think one of the best qualities, and it's no surprise he's transitioned to being a coach, is that leadership. And like, he's just one of those guys that everyone, like, when he speaks, everyone listen, and everyone believes what he's saying. He's so authentic, and he just has that kind of innate ability to kind of bring everyone together and say, like, listen, this is the cause, we're going. And as a player under him and with him, you're like, bro, I'm right there. Like, where's the brick wall? Like, let's hit it.
Love it. Love it. RSL, they are another one I fully anticipate to see in the postseason, and I'm excited to see what they're able to do. All right. Last game preview, and it's a good one. It's a real good one. Stephen Keel. Sporting Kansas City taking on the Seattle Sounders Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, FS1, Fox Deportes, and DAZN. Okay, so this is one of these games where it's like, could this be a little Western Conference final preview? Could it be? Entirely possible. They're sitting first and second in the West, 46 and 45 points, respectively. SKC are continuing their incredible run of form. Shallowy is third in the Golden Boot race. He's got 13 goals. He's not stopping. The guy just continues to find the back of the net, coming off that huge 4-0 win over Minnesota. I mean, this is a Kansas City team that I think I think they have been the most consistent team all season.
Okay.
That's my take on just like consistent. Even when they lose a match, like they've never had like a losing streak. Like, they just are able to kind of bounce right back.
Yeah. Listen, and they're coming off two wins in a row, which is good. And you spoke to Daniel Shallowy and the MVP caliber season he's having. Johnny Russell's also been fantastic. But I tell you, I'm excited for this game. Rui Diaz, Shallowy, two guys who have their names in the hat for just MVPs. It's going to be a fun game. But Seattle, right? Seattle, we talked about them a little bit in the beginning. What is their reaction to this game, right? Because this isn't like they're coming off. They got arguably the second best team in the West. And this is this game is going to be huge and going and determining kind of who that number one seed is out of the West. But for Seattle, 4 of their final 10 games against Kansas City and Colorado. So tough schedule for sure, but a little bit of, you know what? You control your own destiny. You're going to play the teams that are chasing you right now. Those 3 teams kind of fighting for that final spot. I know. This is every game's big. This is really big.
Can I admit something on this show right now?
Of course. Yes, this is a trust circle.
I'm a little worried about Seattle. And not that I mean, they're clearly going to make the postseason. It's not like but I'm a little scared for them because I think that they put so much energy into that Leagues Cup efforts, and they did well. Like they beat Tigres, they beat Santos Laguna, and but like I think like that come down is going to affect them. I also losing Nico Ladero, who just underwent knee surgery. I'm sorry, these are huge factors that I think are going to play in, and I'm just a little bit worried about them. They were on such a tear. I mean, like it looked like they were not going to lose a game at the start of the season, and then they kind of like come back down to earth a little bit, but then turn it around. But this is a team where I don't feel so confident about them right now. And it's very strange to say that because typically this time of year, Seattle's just steamrolling over everyone. But I think that the come down from Leagues Cup, losing Nico Ladero, is quite significant.
Right. Yeah. And
Sounders fans are going to come at me.
No, it's interesting, and it's one of the, I think as a Sounders is, I feel like they've had an incredible season, but it just seemed like all along, I don't want to say people have been doubting them, but they're like, they can't sustain this. And, no Jordan Morris this season, no Stephen Fry goes out, Nuhu's out, and you're listening Ladero, but they just seem to find a way just to get results, to continue winning. Brian Schmetzer, what he's done up there, my goodness, is fantastic. So I still go with, you got Roldan, who's just having an incredible year. Rui Diaz,
I know
we've seen it, is fantastic. But I see where you're coming from, and we're the trust tree, right? We're all about being honest.
I know. I feel like
we're having good conversation.
I just had to get that out of me, because it didn't feel good sitting inside.
Don't keep it in.
It was festering.
It's not good.
It's no bueno. No good for anyone. Oh, guys, let's take a look at the schedule for the entire weekend. We've got some great matchups. Philly Atlanta is going to be fun. That game at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Univision, TUDN, and Twitter. We have New England taking on Orlando. I think that's going to be a great match as well. 7 p.m. East, ESPN Plus and DAZN. Of course, that Hudson River Derby, 8 p.m. on ESPN Plus and DAZN. San Jose, LAFC. Get it. Mm-hmm. Let's go. What else? Flip it over for me. Oh, Portland RSL, which we talked about. Incredible. 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and DAZN. And on Sunday, you do not want to miss that SKC Seattle match, 7 p.m. Eastern, FS1 and Fox Deportes. Holy moly, Keel. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I don't know if I am, to be honest. Like you said, once you start seeing teams clinch, it's like, we're here. We're this part of the season. We're every game is, they all count and everything, but it's like, these are big ones, right?
Points.
These are ones that teams are in and seasons end and everything. So I'm excited. The nice thing is I can just sit back and relax and just enjoy some good soccer.
Exactly. We'll put our MLS hats on.
My MLS hat. It's somewhere around here.
I'm cheering for all of you.
Yes, I like everybody. Whatever team wins, you're my favorite.
You're my favorite. Oh, my God. And also, guys, just a quick reminder before we let you go. It's still September, and therefore it is still Childhood Cancer Month. So, again, please go on Twitter. Use that hashtag Childhood Cancer for every single tweet that features that hashtag. Continental Tire will donate $1 to the Children's Oncology Group. You can also purchase these sweet...
So fresh.
I got my LAFC one here. Can you see where's my, there it is. Other side. There it is.
Fresh.
These are amazing training tops in spirit of Kick Childhood Cancer Month. You can get these on the MLS store at MLSsoccer.com. Do it, guys. It's a great cause. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy all the soccer. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.